Hey, yo, what's up, people? It's your boy Evan Songwai. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, please subscribe down below. I won't keep on saying this. Look at my fingernails. They fucking dirty. I've not been maintaining myself, and they say if you want to see an healthy person, you look at the fingertips. You look at the fingernails. But I guess what can I say? What can I say? So basically, I'm doing this stream because if you notice, I changed the way the house looks. So basically, I have a new setup, and I was thinking like, what should I do? What should I do? And I was thinking like, okay, now you change the setup, then why don't you change it completely? That is when I decided that okay, it is about time I did that exactly that. I just connected it. Let me remind you something. Let me remind you something. Let me remind you something. I'm the fucking guy with ADHD. I am the fucking guy with ADHD. You see, when I concentrate on something, I lose focus of what is going on. That is why I forgot that I was recording. I'm sorry about that. Actually, I'm watching news. I'm watching Bloomberg. The stream continues. The stream continues on.
Australia, I think that's going to continue for the next 30 to 50 years.
Prime housing market back during the GFC that polluted the banks. The banks don't have this exposure. It's not that broad. It's very, very isolated. There will undoubtedly be more as people start to put the microscope on all these companies and bring religion back to how they lend and lend in a much more disciplined way.
I think it's important to put the current market in context because credit, private credit, and direct lending almost get used synonymously in today's environment. And we generally are of the view that credit markets are in good shape. Bank balance sheets are terrific, corporate balance sheets are strong, capital markets are liquid. Then you move to private credit, and we would suggest that most components of the private credit market are also in good shape. Real asset lending, asset-backed lending seems robust. Demand is outweighing supply, credit spreads are strong, covenant quality stays high. Then you get to direct lending. And there are undoubtedly some concerns about direct lending today. A lot of capital
Fuck, I'm wondering, like, what is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? How is it gonna be? You know? Sometimes you gotta wonder. Sometimes all that remains is just wondering, like, huh? I think that is good. So basically, I'm gonna cut off the video and say good night. Good night to you people who are watching me right now. Hopefully, you have